to the city, baby. When you see us, so you know you really viewing greatness in the making. Double up on facts we stating. Podcasting, cruise control, city, state, the nation. So what you saying, what we saying, prime information. Facts, keys to the city, we unlocking the statements.
Streaming every Friday.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Clovercrest Media presents Keys to the City. We are streaming on all social media platforms, Keys to the City, as well as YouTube at Keys to the City. Week 1 is officially in the books. And what a week 1 it was. An amazing, I thought it was an incredible week 1. Great play, great quarterback display. The 3 best quarterbacks in the league really proved their point. Aaron Rodgers, boy, oh boy, what a performance he had to. It's just an overall, a great week. Some disappointments. The Jets look really bad again. The Cleveland Browns, what do they decide with Baker Mayfield? This is a big week for them. Joe Burrow loses a heartbreaker. Just a fun week. Dallas goes 0-1. The NFC East is led by the Washington football team currently. It's week 1. We'll be joined with the Joseph Aguirre in just a few minutes. And like I said, even Monday night last night, 2 great games. 2 fun, enjoyable games. We wanted to see how was this going to be with no fans in the stadium. I think they did what they had to do. It started off Thursday. Great job by Kansas City with the fans, but I think they did their part. Everybody's like, oh, I hate this. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going through a pandemic, so they got to do what they got to do, and they made the most of it. But you saw the good teams. You saw the bad teams. I think right off the bat, and we will get into the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because everybody. Just relax, please. We'll get into that in a few.
What we did realize was teams that had brought back most of their coaching staff and players from last year won games. Teams that had new coaches this year were 2-6. Okay. And if you had Judge last night, they were 2-7 this weekend. Okay. New coaches in their first game.
I'm glad you got that.
And Washington was one of the steal wins right there as a new coach in Ron Rivera.
Joseph Aguirre. We'll be joined right now by him if he wants to join in. And let's talk some big blue football right now. And, Joe, we were talking before the show, and you kind of seemed a little ticked off. And me, differently. Look, the Giants coming in this year, brand new head coach, new offensive line, second-year quarterback, new left tackle, like I said, offensive quarterback, a new system, no preseason. We wanted to see what this team was going to be made of. I don't know about you and both of you, actually, but I have more positivity, more optimism than I did in previous years with the Giants. I know they lost. I know it sucks, a tough loss, 0-1. But for 60 minutes, that New York Giant defense and that team played for 60 minutes. The better team won this game. Let's be honest. Coming into this game, we all knew pretty much that we thought Pittsburgh was going to win. They have plain simple, I'm going to say it right now. They have the best defense in the NFL. That front seven is nasty. They're fast. They get to the quarterback. They make plays.
Plus, they have all 4 secondary guys returning from last year's team. And
you get back your Hall of Fame quarterback who didn't play last year. This was an 8-8 team with one of the worst offenses in the league.
And that's what kills me about watching these Giant fan pages that bash the Giants. When you have to have a realistic expectation, says this Giant team is fighting to win 6 or 8 games this year. This Pittsburgh Steelers team is fighting to win a Super Bowl. Let's understand that. Okay, that's where you have to first have realistic expectations. To think that the Giants were just going to go in there and be able to run the football and throw the ball over the field and play great defense, you have that. You have that hopeful expectation, but that's not realistic.
Here's my thing about last night's game. Positivities I could take away with. Daniel Jones is going to be a fine quarterback in this league. Made a couple of boneheads.
He'll be better than fine.
Fine is a better term for a good quarterback.
You know what fine is.
Okay, whatever. Everybody uses terms differently nowadays, all right? Jesus. Anyways, they have a left tackle that played very well last night. Andrew Thomas was the best offensive lineman maybe in the entire game last night because Pittsburgh's offensive line struggled at times too. I know they were dealing with injuries. Saquon Barkley, they're going to get him the touches. Putrid job by the rest of the offensive line. Cam Fleming got his ass kicked. Stephon Tuitt made Nick Gates, that's his father, I guess, because he was just all over the field.
Daddy.
Hey, daddy, he was his daddy. Even Will Hernandez, who had a really good rookie year, has kind of digressed too into his 3rd season. But DJ is going to be fine. They look like they have a number 1 receiver, and Darius Slayton looks like his go-to guy. They didn't have Tate, but we got to be positive about this. And maybe it's just me feeding off of Coach Judge. I feel like I'm a player because of the way he's but just his positivity. There's a lot of good takeaways from that game. That defense played really well. And you got to remember, this secondary just lost their former first-round pick. They released him. They also lost their second-round pick, who was going to be a major contributor in this game, in this season, and that's Xavier McKinney. Sam Beal not playing. So they're down a little in the secondary. Their linebacking crew played better than expected. Blake Martinez was very good. We have a linebacker maybe now for the next 10 to 12 years. And then their defensive line, who they don't have a dominant premier pass rusher.
Leonard Williams
looked good. Lorenzo Carter looked very well, played very well last night. There is hope for this team. And that's why I'm saying everybody needs to just relax and just hold our breaths. Because I could see the Giants beating the Bears. I could see the Giants beating the 49ers. Call me crazy, but I'm sorry. Did somebody say that? Did 49ers do something on Sunday that says, wow, this team's going to win about 14, 15 games? I'm sorry. What the hell did Jimmy G do? He looked like a quarterback that was in his first game ever. He didn't look good. Their defense is good. The offensive line is going to get it down. I truly believe that. Because this is a new revamped line. They haven't had preseason. You got to remember, they just been practicing with one another.
I called you on the phone before you were going to work. For the first 28 minutes of the football game, they were playing 50-50 ball with the Pittsburgh Steelers. They were holding their own. And at one point, I thought they should have had the lead. The turning point in the game was two.
No, it was Daniel Jones's pick.
Well, of course it was.
That was it. That was the game.
And I said we need a nice 8-minute drive right now. 19 plays, 8-minute drive. You get inside the 10. I don't get it. You have Saquon Barkley. I know you haven't really run the ball well. The play before that, you picked up 4 or 5 yards on a run. I don't understand why you don't go back to the run and make it 3rd and short or 3rd and goal from like the 4 or 5 yard line. I would have ran the ball again. But Daniel Jones, that's got to be a thing where he's got to, hey, listen, I can feel the pressure. He did it later. It was funny. Later in the 3rd quarter, it was a similar play rolling to his left.
He did in the 4th quarter.
And he threw the ball away.
Before the 2-minute warning, I saw it this morning. He did the exact same thing. He threw it away. He got it off the time.
There was no one open. There was no one there. There was 5 Pittsburgh Steelers there. He's got to throw the ball away. You got to understand you got to get points in that drive. That's a huge takeaway. And then for Pittsburgh at the end of the first half to come down and score a touchdown,
you got to think about
that's heartbreaking.
You got to think about that drive. They go down 91, about 87 yards, right at the 4, looking like they're going to go in and take the lead and the pick. Joseph, give us your takeaways because you seem a little more. You were a little more frustrated. Me personally, I just didn't see the frustration from past years.
So let me be clear. I didn't think the Giants were going to win the football game at all.
Neither did I.
Not even a thought in my head.
I thought it was going to be close, though. I had an expectation they could have kept it close for majority of the game. I figured it would be a Giant type of game where in the 4th quarter, the veteran team, the team that's been together longer with the coach who's got, and Ben Roethlisberger, the 4th most wins as a quarterback tandem history, head coach with 116 wins tied with Don Shula and Dan Marino. I thought eventually they would pull away and make the plays, and they did. But sorry, go ahead, Joe.
So look, for me, it's been the same old the last few years. This is a Giants football team that can play with anybody for parts of any game. It seems like that's what we always get. And then, that defensive, I was messaging with Steve Ritzer last night in that pivotal moment when they had the ball back. They were driving just before the half. I said, this is how we'll know how good this Giants defense is. If they could stop them from scoring, feel good. If they hold them to 3, steady. And instead they gave up the touchdown. To be fair, look, at that point, it seemed as if the Giants offense couldn't get going at all anymore in the game, which generally leads to the defense. And this is what we've seen the last couple of years. The Giants defense is definitely a better unit than it was last year. Can't wait to get Xavier McKinney back. And you guys definitely highlighted the linebackers and some of the defensive linemen who played really good football last night. And I think really showed a step forward. I think we all kind of assumed the Giants defense was taking a step forward. So I wasn't shocked to see that. But same old. You're not getting enough pressure on the quarterback. You end up giving away a lot of yards in coverage just because it's hard to cover people if you can't get to the quarterback. They had the horrible play where, nobody accounted for 85-year-old Ben Roethlisberger, 11-yard run up the middle. I mean, come on, Giants.
I mean, it's a little silly mistakes like that.
This looked to me like the team that had its final full practice stopped and restarted. I understand why. This team still fundamentally has a long way to go. The offensive line, I think for me, when you talk about the focus that they put on there, Andrew Thomas is a stud, and we knew he was going to be. Tough to live with a Will Hernandez regression. Cam Fleming, when the Giants signed him, my first thought was that guy's a giant piece of human garbage, and he lived up to the billing last night.
Well, he wasn't supposed to be the starter. Nate Solder was supposed to be the left tackle.
I understand that.
Listen,
they wanted Soldier out anyway. If Soldier didn't opt out due to COVID, the Giants may very well have been forced to move him or cut him and eat money. So who knows how it would have played out. But
no, I think they would have started him. Fleming was supposed to be the swing tackle. He was supposed to be the extra guy because he was supposed to be coming off the bench. He was
no reason why Pert shouldn't have been in that game last night. I mean, he
probably doesn't have the experience yet, Joe. Maybe that's later in the season.
Couldn't be any worse than what you saw last night from Fleming. I mean, absolutely horrible. And
but a lot of people were bad against TJ Watt. And we
got to give credit where credit's due. That defense is nasty. That's the best defense.
Oh, I get it. Tough defense. But I think all in all, where the Giants definitely were able to hang with them at times. They got completely outclassed. I saw this morning the Giants are already projected for the number 2 overall pick in the 2021 draft.
That's not realistic. Here's my thing about that. I told you, Joe. I do not see this team being one of the 3 worst teams. And that's not you. I'm not saying to you. I'm saying to anybody that came up with that. This is not going to be one of the worst 3 teams in the league.
The Jets were a lot worse this weekend.
Their next door neighbor, the New York Jets, look like a laughing stock. Sam Darnold is going to get killed, and that guy will be out of the league soon because, well, they just don't want to protect him. They don't want to take care of him. They don't want to give him weapons. The Jets are really bad. The Jacksonville Jaguars, yes, they won. I still believe are going to be worse than the New York Giants. I still believe the Giants will be maybe top 10 pick, but later in the top 10, like 8 or 9. This team has hope. There is a different type of fire from previous years. There weren't a lot of mistakes other than not a lot of penalties in the game as well. I just felt like there's more positivity than that Giant fans are given. And you even heard Peter King is like, I think the Giants are going to be a better team than we all thought. That's exactly how I feel. Daniel Jones and this team is not going to be playing the Pittsburgh Steelers front 7 every week.
We got to have a realistic expectation that the Giants next year will be the team that we want them to be.
Look, I know they got to start off with the Bears. They got to play Steelers last night. They got to play the Bears this week, and then they got to play the 49ers. I think the Bears game is a winnable game.
The Bears were down by 3 touchdowns going to the Lions in the fourth quarter.
And the Lions became Tom Brady in the fourth quarter.
And if the Lions didn't blow it,
and the 49ers
got killed.
And the 49ers struggled against the Cardinals. Now the Cardinals, let's be honest, their offense is going to be really good, but their defense, they're not known for their defense. So to see a team like Jimmy G and the 49ers, who were just in the Super Bowl, struggle offensively, I mean, let's be honest, the Giants could win these games. The Giants were in that game throughout the entire – and no matter what that score was, the Giants were in that game.
I don't know if they were in that game because the score dictated it, but I don't think they were.
The game was over in the third quarter because Daniel Jones threw the pick. Once he threw the pick,
hold on. Both picks were bad. Okay, the first one he forced because even if the guy TJ Watt didn't pick it off, the guy that was guarding Evan Ingram was going to pick it off, and the guy in the cornerback who was sitting in the cover 2 zone would have picked it off. Okay, I don't know where he was throwing that first one. The second one, you have to be smarter than that. This is what we were talking about not making the bad mistake. It's okay to get sacked and lose 7 yards and throw the pick. You can live with that. You get the field goal. The Giants still get the lead. What else? And we talked about this before. Evan Ingram. When are we going to see something out of this guy? Because I said it on the first drive. I'm like, drops. He's got a knack for dropping the ball. It's a lack of concentration.
Yep.
The biggest thing that I took away from the Giants game last night was they can't run the football right now. Everything else I was thoroughly pleased with. I thought the defense played hard. I thought they played physical. Okay, yeah, they made mistakes, but that's a team trying with a new coordinator and with new pieces. The biggest thing I noticed was we could not run the football. Not even close to running the football. We had the stat. I sent it to you. You sent it back to me. Ben Roethlisberger had more rushing yards than Saquon last night. That's a problem. We have one of the best running backs in the history of football, talent-wise. Okay, he could be something great, Hall of Fame.
Unlike anything we've ever had.
But to not be able to see him be able to just – I mean, he had that one little screen pass leaping over guys, and it's just like, that's what we got. It's Superman just waiting to be broken loose. And it's just very frustrating. Now, I hope Jason Garrett doesn't get too pass heavy because I know he can fall into that because it was a problem in Dallas. They had Zeke, and how many times did you used to scream and go, why are they not feeding Zeke? And they would get
last night was tough. They were trying to get the ball, and that they had no hope. Stephon Tuitt was there. TJ Watt looked like I said, I think he's going to win Defensive Player. That kid's a special player. So is Bud Dupree, Devin Bush, Minka Fitzpatrick. That team, that Steelers team, for them to be competitive, and that could be a dark horse in the AFC just because of how great that defense is. And if Big Ben plays to Big Ben capability, watch out for the Pittsburgh Steelers because that could be a very scary team going forward in the AFC. It's a new beginning for Giant fans. It's a new beginning for this franchise. We are moved on from Eli. The Eli train is done. It's all Daniel Jones. It's Joe Judge.
I'm okay because I saw Daniel Jones make plays.
But no, that's what I'm saying. I'm excited for the future of the Giants, and that's why last night was, yes, they lost. Yes, they are 0-1, but there's still a lot of positives. We might have a left tackle now for the 10 to 12 years. Might have a franchise quarterback, a running back, a number one receiver, and then once with that defense gets a little more experienced, we're talking about a team that's going to be very formidable in the NFC for years to come.
We hope.
No, there's no hope. It's going to happen. This team is so young that they will be fine. They will be fine, and we have to be patient. We're not expecting this team to go to the playoffs right off the bat. They're not winning the Super Bowl. This is going to take a year or so. They're going to be fine. So let's have some positivity, and let's just have some hope. Right, guys? Let's have some positivity. No, you guys don't
3
feel
and 13. 3 and 13 is where I'm at.
I'm about to cut you off. You're about to get off the show if you talk nonsense.
Listen, you know what? I was with you. No, hold on. I understand you're upset. I know where I'm hitting you in the heart.
What you just said.
I love the Giants. Don't get me wrong here, but I'm trying to be objective. Like, I'm looking around the rest of the league. I watched a lot of the games, and which games I didn't watch, I really got into. I talked to some different people about their teams just to sort of get a sense of where people think they're at, because this is such a weird season with no preseason. You didn't really know what you were going to get.
Mm-hmm.
And, the Niners, I think, for one, a massive letdown. Tom Brady obviously played like garbage, but I think for me, I think the thing that frustrated me the most about the Giants was simply the fact that Saquon couldn't get anything going. Obviously the game plan was to try to get the ball in Saquon's hands, and that game plan was a giant turd. That's the thing that upset me the most. I could live with a second-year quarterback making a bad throw around that happens. I could live with that. But the fact of the matter is, by the third and fourth quarter, it was clear the Giants weren't going to win the football game again. And I'm just so tired of, listen, it's been 4 or 5 straight years now where whenever this team gets in the fourth quarter and they're within striking distance, they absolutely don't have any clue how to get back into a game. They just don't. They just don't make big plays late in games.
Can't make stops.
And I think that comes down to not having that D-line being able to take over a game, because and I'm not training off, but you look at the Philadelphia Eagles-Washington game. Okay, the Eagles were dominating that game. They were up 17-0, even with the lackluster offensive line they had. And then Washington's defense took over the game, and Eagles never scored again. That's the problem. The Giants don't have 1 or 2 guys on the defensive line that can take over a game and be tone setters. You look at teams that the Rams against the Cowboys. Aaron Donald just took the offensive lineman in Dallas, threw them aside, and then picked up Zeke and threw him on the ground like he was a rag doll.
That's Aaron Donald.
I mean,
you're comparing the best football player maybe in the game.
But you're acting like he's anybody. Like I just said, what about the Washington players?
What
about the Steelers?
I know. Look, we just got. I don't see 3 and 13. Saquon last year, we complained that they didn't give him the ball in the first game against Dallas. He got the ball about over 20 times last night, so he's going to be able to run the football. Let's be clear. Saquon Barkley's not going to have much more games in his career of 15 carries and 6 yards.
You hope not.
It's not. It's not, because you're not playing a defense like that every week. It's not going to happen.
You're playing the Bears defense this week.
He's
the 49ers defense.
He is way too talented to do that. That defense is nasty, and we saw the true Pittsburgh Steelers defense. They are even better. They're hungrier, and now they have a healthy, as of right now, Big Ben going forward. The Steelers are going to be a playoff team. They're going to be a dark horse in the AFC, and that defense is the best defense in the league. So the Giants, they do their part. They lose, but they stick to it. They stick to their game plan. They play well. Their offensive line looked all right. How were they going to handle this defense? They played well. Andrew Thomas, I'm very pleased with how he played. The others, got to get their stuff together because we can't be having number 26 having 6 yards in a game. Plain and simple. Let's get over to all the other week 1 games. And what a week 1 it was. Let's get into Tampa Bay because I've seen everybody overreacting, freaking out, and going absolutely insane because they lost the first game of the year to a team that's been in Super Bowl contention for the past 4 years, and all of a sudden that the Buccaneers were going to go 16-0 because they have Tom Brady and they have everybody. Does anybody remember when a team in the NBA called Miami Heat formed their little trio? And do you remember what they started with, Ted, in their first 17 games? Do you remember what their record was? They were 9-8, and everybody was freaking out. They were having problems in the Spoelstra and LeBron had their little arguments on the bench, and everybody was freaking out saying, uh-oh, this is not going to work. Well, guess what happened now? They ended up winning the title. They got to the finals. They did pretty well for themselves. One of the greatest duos and teams in the past 20 years. Okay, so let's get back to Tampa, another Florida team. Tom Brady, new system, new coach, new beginnings. To look at the whole Tampa, New England. It's just everything is new down there. They get Leonard Fournette. They have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, the 3 tight ends. I know it looks all sexy. The fantasy team.
Also, they had a rookie offensive tackle in Tristan Wirfs.
Yes,
who was going against Cam Jordan. I was going to say Cameron Hayward. That was last night, Steelers. But Cameron Jordan, one of the best defensive linemen in all of football. You see that there was no fan interference. There was no crowd noise. There was no nothing. But you could tell Tampa Bay looked like their first game. Here's the thing: not having a preseason game, not being able to go full force. Mike Evans was coming off a hamstring injury. He wasn't 100%. You could tell he wasn't 100%. He had 1 catch, 2 yards, a touchdown. Mm-hmm. For the most of the point, he was shut down.
No, 100%.
Gronk wasn't a factor in the game. Leonard Fournette didn't really even run the ball. He's still learning the whole game plan. So it's going to take time for this. And you're right, Trev. Wait till week 6. When we're looking at this team and they're scoring 37 points a game.
Look, and then Arians comes out and says, oh, that wasn't Brady-like. And this is what the media is going to do. They're going to blow it out of proportion. They're going to already say, oh, there's disconnect between the two. Guys, Tom Brady's been in this league for 20 freaking years. He's won 6 Super Bowls. He's been through it all. Do you really think after 1 game that the Buccaneers, led by Tom Brady, it's over with? Really? Have we come to this situation in the time of society now that after one...
No, it's called Overreaction Monday.
I know, but after 1 game, and Joe, thank you for all the pictures. It doesn't look good when you see all the pictures right now. It just doesn't look promising for Tampa Bay. So they are when New England won. But yeah, especially when New England and Cam looking good too as well.
Trevor, this is what you call fake news. This is where I just string all the bad moments of Tom Brady's day, one after the other.
I'm surprised you didn't get the pick 6 as well with Janoris Jenkins, ex-Giant. But here's my thing: is that it happens. All these super teams, all these teams that are created, it's not going to just happen like that. It's going to take time. They have to gel. So for anybody that thinks, oh, here we go, the Buccaneers are going to be terrible. Tom Brady, what a bad mistake he made. Give it a rest.
The Saints will probably be the number 1 seed in the NFC.
The Saints are a team that's been in the NFC title game or not at 4 straight years, but have been in the Super Bowl picture for the past 4 years. This is a team that's been together. And I'm sorry, Drew Brees didn't look all that great to me either. I'm sorry that I know he won, but they had the better team. Drew Brees, he can't throw the ball longer than 10 yards. Michael Thomas got hurt too. I'm sorry, but everybody wants to say the Buccaneers were so bad. The Saints, yeah, they put up 34 points, but Drew Brees, that's going to kill him down the road. He can't stretch the field with his arm. He can't be Russell Wilson. He can't be Mahomes. He can't be Aaron Rodgers because they stretch the field unlike any other quarterbacks. He can't do that. So for anybody who wants to say, yes, the Saints are 1-0 in the win-loss column, but they didn't look great. Drew Brees didn't look great. Their defense was great, and they got to Brady. But everybody that's freaking out and saying, "Oh, the Buccaneers experiment is already over," just stop. Give it a rest, please.
I watched the game. Joe, did you watch the whole game?
Joseph, come back.
I did. Yeah, absolutely, I did. Yeah.
So overall take, I expected kind of what I saw. I expected the Saints.
Did we expect them to win?
I thought it would be a closer game.
So we all thought with the Giants. We all thought they weren't going to win.
I thought it'd be a closer game. I was very interested to see, though, how the connection between the receivers and the tight ends were with Brady. You could tell they were out of sort. You could tell that it was the first NFL real action game of the team. You can practice all you want, but they're not going full force like they were in a game, like a normal game. And let's face it, the Saints have a good defense. They really do. They have a very good defense. They have a shutdown corner. They have a very good linebacker in Demario Davis. They have a elite pass rusher in Cameron Jordan. They have great coaching. They've been here before. Majority of the team, if not the whole team, is back again. And that's what we're talking about. And I said this before when I started the show. New teams this week with new coaches, and I don't mean new teams with coaches, but new coaches on new staffs. We're 2-7 this weekend. So you're looking at, this is a new team. This is a whole bunch of new pieces. You know what I mean? It takes time to gel. If you know anything about football, defenses are always ahead of the game.
Well, obviously, the people that want to talk about it don't.
Well, that's why. I showed you this morning.
You have idiots
on a New York Giant fan page. Media. They said Saquon Barkley is a bust, and Daniel Jones looked like a rookie. And I said, probably your worst take ever. Stick to your day job. And then people complimented me, and I said, listen, you got to have realistic expectations.
Well, according to Joe, he doesn't have.
Okay, the Tampa Bay Bucks, they had a rookie tackle who's getting dominated for most of the game. Their line, here's the biggest thing: their line got dominated. That was the really biggest shocking thing, that their offensive line got, and they weren't able to develop any running game. I thought they would have used Fournette a little bit more. And it made them really predictable. And I just hope that because they think Brady's there, that they're going to throw the ball over the field, and this is going to be,
they got it.
The greatest show on turf, because it's not.
They have to gel, and that's what it's not going to just happen overnight.
And of course, the Patriots. And I'm trying to cut you off, but I know the Patriots winning this week and having Newton look as good as he did.
No, I would disagree with that statement. I would say the Ravens.
Listen, he's not off though.
The Saints are right there. No, the Saints are right there. But
and that's my Super Bowl prediction: Saints Ravens.
And so did I, and I had the Ravens winning.
I think complete, Steve. You're not far off. Maybe because the Ravens,
he's close.
Maybe because the Ravens have Lamar Jackson, the Saints have Drew Brees is the biggest edge. Because what I noticed is Drew Brees can't throw the ball more than 5 yards. If you watch that whole game, I didn't see one deep pass. And later on in the playoffs, when you can prepare a lot harder, teams are going to play an underneath zone, keep everything under 10, because you're going to say, "Beat me deep." Play man coverage and throw deep, and he can't throw the ball deep. It's screens, it's dinks, it's dunks, it's a Taysom Hill throwback pass. It's
that's what I'm trying to say.
They're probably better off with Taysom Hill as their quarterback, because he can he can run the ball, be a dynamic runner, and he can throw the ball deep. Drew Brees can't throw the ball deep, and if you don't have a guy that can stretch the field, I thought Emmanuel Sanders would have been a bigger factor in the game. He didn't have a catch till late in the game.
Joseph, what do you think?
Well, look, I'll tell you, I expected, like you said, Ted, I expected Brady to do about what Brady did. I think, again, when you come into a new system, even have Gronk around, I don't know that there needs to be the adjustment period of kind of getting used to everything about it.
Yes.
I will say this, the other prediction I did make, and I know I made it with you guys as well, was Superman was shining bright. Cam Newton, boy.
I said it. Fantasy, baby, this
Joe,
week.
Joe, didn't you say MVP?
No.
Joe,
I didn't say MVP, but I did say that I think Cam Newton's going to take this team to 10-6. I think he's going to make them the
prediction. That was Joe's bold prediction, Cam Newton, and it's not, and it doesn't seem too far stretched now because
he looked good.
Well, they always going to be playing the Miami Dolphins too, so let's pipe down.
Well, really? Really?
You want to get into this?
Really? They're not going to play. They're going to play the Jets two times. It's like the Miami Dolphins in New York. Relax that.
Got to play the Bills twice.
They play Seattle this week.
Got to play Seattle in Seattle this week.
I'll bet you they'll split with the Bills. I bet you they'll sweep the Jets, and I'll bet you they'll sweep the Dolphins.
Put your money where you have. No, I don't care. I'm going for 3 straight against them.
A third sandwich on the line. I'm doing it. Let's go.
So you want to do? Hold on. So let's bet the Sunday night game. Not Carolina. New England versus Seattle. Do you have New England winning?
No. It's in
yes,
Seattle.
I do.
In Seattle? Okay.
I do. In Seattle.
Are you just saying that just to lose again?
No. These sandwiches aren't free. You think I just handed sandwiches out? No, I think Cam Newton is going to be the breakout star of the NFL this year. He's going to make Carolina look stupid, and he's going to make Tom Brady look stupid for leaving.
You're out of your minds. You really. Big breaking news on baseball, though. They just set up some NLDS locations and ALDS. All breaking news. Actually, if you look it up right
Houston, Minute Maid Park will have one.
Park.
Are we going to a bubble? Is there going to be a bubble?
We're going to the bubble.
This just in. The bubble.
I can't believe you think that the Patriots are going to win this week. I mean, Cam Newton looks great. Don't get me wrong. There was a lot of positives from a lot of teams. There was a lot of negatives.
The Jaguars, but we got to speak about the Jaguars for 1 second. We thought you had them going 2-14.
No, I had 1-15. They're losing 15 straight.
They're not losing 15.
Sorry, RJ, if you're watching, I'm sorry. I still got to stick to my
Gardner
prediction.
Minshew, 19 of 20. That's Phil Simms.
Oh,
3 touchdowns, no picks. The Colts. You and me both had the Colts in the playoffs.
No, I did not.
Yeah, you did.
No, I did not.
You
had
had
8-8. Did not have them in the playoffs. Yeah, there you go. See, Steve's wise.
I like that people know what our sandwich situation is like at this point. I really do.
Trifecta right now.
No, but I mean, listen. I thought Minshew, considering everything that's transpired with the Jaguars this year, and everyone on the outside believes they're tanking. What's to say they might not win 6-7 games?
Is this a Dolphins like last year? Remember when the Dolphins got rid of everybody? They finished 5-11.
Listen,
but they still got 2.
You know what he is? He's a better Baker Mayfield.
Wow, who would have thought
Gardner Minshew's a better Baker
Mayfield?
Thought that? Same type of player, gunslinger arm, but he's got a more moxie to him. He's not bravado, but he makes the plays.
I don't see him coming off as cocky either, like arrogant. Like Baker had his really good rookie year, and I guess we should get into that because that's actually one of the bad from this weekend is a Cleveland Brown team. Jacksonville looked very impressive. Phillip Rivers once again doing what Phillip Rivers does best.
Who was your most impressive team of the weekend, though?
Seriously?
Yeah.
Is that really a question?
Yeah.
The most impressive team is the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, but
they beat it. Hold on. They beat a team that we all thought would be competitive in the AFC North. We thought they might have a chance to get into the playoffs this year. We thought they'd be better. They have another year with Beckham, a new head coach, Kevin Stefanski, Baker Mayfield, Kareem Hunt, that whole crew. Boy, oh boy, to lose by 32 to a division rival and a team that they beat last year in Baltimore when Nick Chubb, that was, I think, Nick Chubb's best game last year, a huge game he had against Baltimore. To see them lose by 32 and to only score 6 points with that type of offense, and I'm sorry, but Giant fans, more and more we look at that Odell Beckham Jr. trade looks more and more better for us because he's been non-existent. It's like Robinson Cano. Who's Odell Beckham Jr.? He goes to Cleveland and he literally is.
Beckham blew that. He could have owned the city of New York.
But here's my
and
thing.
He blew it.
But I'm not getting into all that Beckham stuff. Here's my thing. When they have that much talent offensively, they get Conklin, Jack Conklin in free agency, Jedrick Wills in the draft. They add some pieces on defense. They also get Austin Hooper. Javen Njoku's out for a couple weeks now.
Yeah.
But Austin Hooper, and you lose by 32 points to a division rival and look that bad? Like, I know the Jets were bad. I know Jacksonville's supposed to be bad, but at least Jacksonville played their guts out. They won a division game. You got your asses kicked on national TV. And thank you, Stevie. Of course. I usually am right, Stevie.
Dude, he's changing a new league, Steve Rizzer.
He loves me. I'm the good guy now. But I'm the good guy on this show. Here's the thing. I mean, come on.
That's because Eli Manning's not on the field.
Yeah, true, right? And you got to also remember, we don't remember last year, week 1, Cleveland? Oh, they lost to a Titans team by 30 points as well. So this is 2 straight years of Baker Mayfield and the Browns struggling. We're all giving hope that this team is going to be really good, right? What are we to make that this team is going to move on from Baker after this year? I mean, Colin Cowherd knows, listen, this is a massive game this Thursday. This is a massive game this Thursday against the Cincinnati Bengals. Because if they lose at home and he plays bad again, boy, they're going to be wanting his head.
The 2 worst teams this weekend were the Browns and the Jets. The Jets were pathetic.
Oh,
okay, I listened to Michael Kay show yesterday. I don't know if anyone watched the Jets game unless you're a Jets fan. But here's the thing. I took it away. Darnold looked awful, and he has regressed every year. He is not good. He is not good.
Stevie, you still feel good about that one?
Now, you can blame the coaching staff. You could say he has no weapons. All realistic thoughts on that. But their defense, they had no effort. They were lackluster.
Adam Gase should be fired now.
Adam Gase
is a joke.
Who had issues with Le'Veon Bell during training camp. Le'Veon Bell pulls his hamstring in the first half. They tape it up, and then Adam Gase puts him back in the second half and realizes, oh, my God, he's not fully healthy. We should pull him. What are we doing?
You know what's fun?
Like, listen, he is one of your best players. If he's hurt with a hamstring, you shouldn't touch the field.
This is the funny part.
This is the New York Jets. You know, it's funny because Adam Gase got the job. See, this is what kills me. So Adam Gase
We're all over the
was
place.
not
Where we
good.
going
Was
here?
not good in Miami.
Left, right, left,
Was
right.
not good in Miami. Got fired. So the Jets, without doing their homework, say, you know what? We're going to give Adam Gase because Peyton Manning said he's the quarterback whisperer. What are you whispering? Nonsense? Because it's
He's
not
seeing ghosts still.
because it's not working. And since he's been there, it's been awful. Remember his press conference? He was like,
Looks like he was doing drugs.
okay,
Looks like he was doing
eyes
drugs.
were rolling in the back of his head. I don't know what was happening to him. But you look at this team. They have not improved since he's been there. There's been issues with players. Jamal Adams, Le'Veon Bell. These are superstars. Jamal Adams had a pretty good game this week. 12 tackles, sack.
Yeah, he looked
Looked pretty good blitzing all over the field. They have no weapons for Sam Darnold. Adam Gase brought in Joe Douglas. That was his guy, the GM. The Jets are 2-8. By week 11, when the Jets have the bye, mark my words, Adam Gase will be fired. There is
2-8. He'll be gone before then.
No, I don't, because the Jets won't fire him in the middle of the season.
Here's my thing. Do you want to know why teams like the Steelers do well and the teams like the Jets do well? Because look what the Steelers did.
You said the Jets do well.
Listen, I said, but you know what I mean. I'm sorry.
Slow your roll, son.
Should we count the mistakes? This is like, should we count the facts that you say and the mistakes?
Are you
that
gonna
have?
go?
Yeah, I'm gonna
Or
get
are you
into
gonna
it.
worry about talking
Anyways,
nonsense?
my point is the reason why the Steelers are so always impressive and the Jets are the Jets is because you got to think about it. A couple years ago, they had one of the best offenses in the game. Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, the 3 Bs. Now look at those two of those 3 Bs. One's not even in the league and may not ever play again. And one took less money to go to a team that is completely garbage. And if any Jet fans watching, I'm sorry. But if you can take any positives from that game, please do. I'm all ears. I mean, at least the Giants, they played for 60 minutes. They gave it all. They didn't win, but they still had more hope. The Jets, Sam Darnold, Mr. Savior, right? We've been hearing that for 3 years now. Now, I know he doesn't have a lot of weapons, probably the worst bunch of weapons in the game. But when he's continuously going back and back and back, you're supposed to be going forward. You're supposed to be growing up, and he's not. I don't know who to blame. Is it more Darnold? Is it more Gase?
So when the Jets have
the
the number 1 pick next year, they will be drafting Trevor Lawrence, and Sam Darnold will be out the door with Adam Gase.
Can you imagine that?
That's what's going to happen. When
that?
the Jets have the worst record in football, and they are,
Can you imagine that?
they
Joe?
will be drafting Trevor Lawrence, and they will be shipping Sam Darnold out the door. See you later. And so will Adam Gase, and there'll be a new
Let's
coach.
do worst 3 teams that you saw, Joe.
Browns, Jets, and
Definitely Browns.
I'm asking Joe.
Definitely Browns, definitely Jets. And I think if you're an Eagles fan, I think there's got to be some real concern for you.
that's definitely disappointing to be up. And Wentz did not look good.
I mean,
It
they're
was
all
really bad.
God, getting pressured 8 sacks? Damn. I mean, Washington, good for them.
They have more
down
injuries.
17-0 to come back and win 27-17. The NFC East, like I said, and we haven't even talked about those Cowboys and those Eagles, the 2 front runners in the NFC East. And then we'll finish off with the really good because there was some great football and great quarterback play. But I want to talk about the NFC East because this has always been the hot debated question: Carson Wentz or Dak Prescott. Well, we got to see 2 of them on hand. The Eagles' offensive line is atrocious. It's very bad. They're dealing with massive injuries, and it doesn't look like it's going to get any better for them. And then you got a Dallas team that has all the expectations. They could be maybe the front runner to win the NFC. They have it all. Well, I saw a team that still looks the exact same to me. Dak Prescott still looks the exact same to me. Just has a visor now. That's the only difference I see with that.
they were the same exact team as they were last year.
I'm sorry, but Dak Prescott, and I keep saying, and I hate to say it, but this is what Dak Prescott is. This is what he was in college. He's a good quarterback, but he'll never win you. You could give him all the pieces. For goodness sake, you could give him Barry Sanders or another receiver, and he would still not make a Super Bowl. He's that type of quarterback. He's not going to win you the big one. He's like a Phillip Rivers. He's good, but he's never going to get you to where you want to be. He's not going to be Eli. He's not going to be Big Ben. I mean, let's not hope he's ever Eli. But my point is that he's just not going to win. He's never going to take you to the promised land that you want to. And they, like I said, give him $100 million a year. I give him everything. Give him $1 billion. I don't care if Dallas does because he is not worth the money. And to see those 2 teams, especially Dallas, because we all thought Dallas was going to be really, really good this year, to play the way they played on Sunday night against a Rams team who could be interesting, but is not as great as they were past couple of years. To play the way they did, I'm not worried about Dallas. And then the Eagles are a total mess with that offensive line. What did you guys think about the NFC East? What did you guys think about the Eagles and the Cowboys.
Well, I had the assumption that Dallas was going to go in and beat the Rams. They didn't look good. They looked like Dallas. I said to you yesterday, I said, that's what Dak Prescott is. He can't win the big game. Like he just can't make the big play down the stretch.
Was that a offensive pass interference?
No. Just like I don't think last night's Ingram's was a pass interference. And I thought that was a game-changing play because then it set up second and 27, and then they ran a screen.
I got you.
A lot more offensive pass interferences I saw this weekend than I'm used to seeing.
Yes.
But with that being said, I think Mike McCarthy also blew the game when it was 4th and, I believe, 6 or 4th and 3, and on the 11-yard line, and he decided to go for it. Kick the field goal, tie the game 20-20, and let your defense play ball, and maybe you get a late field goal to win. I didn't like the whole scenario. I mean, last year it was like, it's because Jason Garrett's the head coach. That's the problem.
What's the excuses now? Oh, we got a new head coach now.
What's the excuse? I mean, offensive lines could be.
They also lose Blake Jarwin for a significant time, and the linebacker Leighton Vander Esch was out for 6 to 8 weeks. So they're a couple more injuries away from having their season spiral.
All I know is the NFC East will be much more competitive.
It's wide open to me.
Yeah.
Now, do I think the Giants and Redskins are going to win the division? No.
After 1 week, though, it to me, I don't know if we all agree on this, but it looks like it could be wide open.
The Giants and Washington are still not winning the division.
That's fine.
But it'll be a lot closer than Dallas and Eagles both 10-6 and Redskins Giants 4-12. I think there's a better chance that all the teams are around 7-9, 8-8, right around there. I think Washington with that defensive line is going to keep them in a lot more games than people want to give them credit for. And I think maybe Dwayne Haskins will show more. It's one of those things where, remember the Trent Dilfer, don't lose a game, just be efficient.
With that defensive line, they have opportunities to win games.
Daniel Jones, we know the Giants could play. Can they run the ball and develop a little bit more?
And Chase Young looked very good too. Both the picks at the NFC East, the Giants and Washington. I was about to say the Redskins by accident.
All I know is,
but Chase Young looked really good. And so did Andrew Thomas, and that's a battle that I cannot wait to see.
And all I know is Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, and Lamar Jackson.
Before we get into that, I want to ask Joe, what did he think about the Eagles? Because we will get to that. We're going to close out with that.
Well, I said, I actually got you guys started on that. I mean, I thought Wentz looked pretty awful. And I see our buddy Quali Boy in the comments very concerned about how his team looked for most of the second half of that football game. But for me, look, I think Dwayne Haskins is an excellent quarterback. You guys know that was the guy I wanted the Giants to draft over Daniel Jones. Obviously, Jones right now has the advantage as far as everything. But I really do think that Haskins can be as good as what Daniel Jones projects to be. I think you're talking about a guy who's got a chance to be a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. And I think he's got a lot of good pieces around him with a vastly improved defense. The Redskins could be surprising at times. I mean, we've seen that over the last few years where I think this team could get out to a 6-3 start before they settle in at 7-9. But this, like you said, look, this division is wide open. I think it's going to be who can play consistently week to week. Again, I don't want to shortchange anybody right now because not having a real preseason and it just coming out and playing football, you guys have played, it's a hard thing to do. I want to give this another couple of weeks before I decide, whether Tom Brady should retire, whether Josh Jacobs should be crowned MVP today. There's a lot of speculation from today because of the weekend. I think we got to give this a couple weeks. Obviously, Marlon Mack, big injury out for the year. You're going to see a lot of this stuff, and don't be surprised during the year. I mean, we got to talk about, we haven't mentioned the word once yet, but COVID, there'll certainly be cases of COVID-19 that'll wreak havoc on rosters and on your fantasy teams. So glad they're back. Fun week. I watched so many games, and it was so great to see them, but I don't want to get too carried away at this point.
Well, let's talk about, if we want, after week one, let's talk about greatness. And that was, to me, the 4 best quarterbacks in the NFL right now. In no particular order. Patrick Mahomes started on Thursday night, picking apart the Houston Texans, but not throwing the ball deep. It was as surgical. It was literally intermediate routes, as Colin Cowherd calls it. He went to surgery and picked them apart. And then Lamar Jackson just coming out and continue his MVP, maybe going for 2 straight. Here's the thing about Lamar Jackson, and Colin Cowherd said it best. The guy's 20-3. Do you realize that he's 20-3 and everybody's freaking out because he's only lost 2? Do you remember Peyton Manning started off not really winning any playoff games, couldn't win, And you look at some of the quarterbacks, Josh Allen really well. Jimmy G, we didn't even get into him that much, but Jimmy G struggled. Lamar Jackson is the main guy that I want to talk about because he looked amazing. That team looks very, very scary as well. Russell Wilson, I picked him to be the MVP. And then Aaron Rodgers looks like a man on a mission and just trying to shut all the doubters up because he went into Minnesota. No fans and all. By the way, I had Minnesota's defense to give me -4 points. I still won, though. I still won by 20 points. Anyways, Rodgers looked amazing. He had some of the best throws I've seen in a long time. Devontae Adams looks good. He stays healthy. That team looks very good going forward. That team looks like they're going to be the favorites winning that NFC North. But you look at those 4 quarterbacks, they look like above everyone else. Like I thought I was seeing maybe Brady and Breeze. Those would have been the 6 best quarterbacks. I think Breeze and Brady are taking a step back. I think those 4, Wilson, Lamar, Mahomes, and Rodgers, clear-cut, top 4 quarterbacks. Everybody else is a tier below them. They really came out and showed out their true talents, and they picked apart some good teams. Anybody want to say?
No, I thought you were. When were we just going? I mean,
no, I want you to.
Listen, what do you have to say? Well, I was the one that interrupted before. I mean, we said it. Wilson, Rodgers, Lamar all look like MVPs right now. We knew what Mahomes did. We talked a little bit about before last week. What's more to say? Those 4 quarterbacks are front and center, and look at the teams. And look at the teams, Ron. Remember what we said though too, and we talked about this on Friday. I think it was Friday,
and we mentioned the question undefeated. Well, Baltimore's winning, and they don't look like they're slowing down. The Chiefs. They look like they're winning, and they ain't slowing down. So I know it's only week 1, but with the way those 2 teams played on Thursday and Sunday, boy, oh boy, good luck to the AFC trying to slow those teams down. The only team I could really see doing it is a team that played on Monday night last night, and maybe even the Titans. The Titans, other than Kostowski, looked very impressive defensively. Yeah, Derrick Henry, I know.
Let me put this way. I want to go a little bit off what thing is. What I thought was super impressive was Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins. First game together, 14 catches, touchdown, 150-something plus yards. Kyler Murray, 91 yards rushing, over 200-something yards passing, tearing up that 49ers defense, which we consider one of the best defenses. You look at those 2 guys, that's pretty good for a first game.
And I wanted to pick Kyler Murray to win MVP. I thought he could be a dark horse to win. But
that team is going to be dangerous. They're going to be better than a lot of – that's one of those teams where, hey, listen.
That division is going to be up.
Now you're 1-0. San Francisco is the only team in that division that did not get a win this weekend. Seattle, Arizona, and Rams both all looked impressive. The Rams looked a lot better.
Yeah.
Top 5, Wilson, Mahomes, Rodgers, Lamar, and Watson. Watch out for Kyler Murray. I like it.
I love Watson, but Watson has no help, and he's going to get killed with that offensive line, what I saw on Thursday night. I love Watson. If you had to pick out of the 4 quarterbacks, who do you think had the best game? If you had to pick out of the 4.
Russell Wilson, 31 of 35, 4 touchdowns, 4 incompletions, 334 yards passing. Total domination.
And he ran, too. And Rodgers,
Rodgers was great, too, but Wilson only had 4 incompletions.
Joe, who'd you pick? If you had to, Mahomes was really good, but he didn't have the yards, but he picked apart Houston. If you had to pick the best performance out of those 4 quarterbacks, who'd you take?
Well, it's tough because Lamar Jackson only ran for 45 yards, so I'll still pick him with the 3 touchdown passes. I think he's the best pure athlete of the group, and I think he's in the top 5 as far as just quarterback play. I don't mean athleticism. I mean just from the standpoint of being a quarterback. I still think he's got a ways to go to get over Wilson and Mahomes and Rodgers, but I think he's got enough talent and ability and smarts. I think he's a really smart guy. I think he's got a great instinct for the game as well. I think he will eventually be the best quarterback in the NFL. How long that will last, I think will depend on health. Obviously when you have scrambling quarterbacks, you always do run the risk of suffering injuries, but I think in no time flat, I do think this kid will be the best player in the NFL.
The NFL is in good hands with these quarterbacks.
Joe Burrow looked good this week.
Looked good at times. That team. It sucks that they had an offensive pass interference called on AJ Green, and then Randy Bullock.
Literally. Oh, come on! You know what? I gotta tell you, this is the other thing. I wish everybody would stop bitching and crying about pass interference. Look around. This is what the league has been for like the last 4 or 5 years. Just shut up. There's bad pass interference calls. There always are. Get over it.
Get over it. Are you yelling at us on our show?
I'm not yelling at you.
What kind of
I'm
stuff
yelling
is
at
this?
everybody. I'm so sick of this. Dude, they made this rule so stupid. And I've said this before. I don't know why on any given drive, every team doesn't just have that one play where it's like everybody run down the field. I'm just gonna heave it and try to get some contact so we get the pass interference. It's an easy 35-yard play down the field. I see it happen to the Giants. They always get pass interference called against them. Stop bitching about it. It's the rules. That's the way it goes. You can't grab people. Sometimes they're going to let you play late in games. It's a very subjective call is the problem. And we could sit here and cry about it. Oh, boom. Who cares? Make a better throw. Make a better throw. Don't put yourself in position where a last-second play is going to cost you the game. That's what happens.
This is going to be like the Brett Gardner thing. We're going to start noticing it more and more now.
Tired of everybody complaining about it.
Listen, we could break down every game for hours, but I don't want to. I'm taking away some of the big things that I saw right there with this NFL weekend. It was a very listen. Quarterback play was really well. Yes. Trubisky played well. Defenses played well. Defenses. I got to give defense. And we got to think about this. We didn't even bring it up. None of these teams played preseason. So all these teams coming in with just practicing against one another and playing against real competition now, the play didn't look sloppy. And that's
let me ask you this, though.
The play didn't even look that sloppy to just finish up.
Are you surprised that the quarterbacks that have been with their team the longest and know their offense is the best pretty much all came out and played really well? When you look at Wilson, Mahomes, Rodgers, Jackson, when you look at those guys, those guys came out with a comfort level that I don't think the other quarterbacks, or at least some of the newer starters, teams like the Giants with a new head coach, where you had a little bit more coach, you're putting a new offense in, or teaching new term, whatever the case may be.
Jared Goff and the Rams look smooth. They look good against Dallas. They look very impressive. I was actually very impressed watching that game Sunday night. I don't like the uniforms. Not at all. I didn't really like it, but I was looking at the stadium. I'm like, is that a resort? Did you hear Al Michaels got sunburned?
Oh, bummer.
He got sunburned from I guess the way. Yeah, it's supposed to feel like that stadium is beautiful. All these new stadiums are beautiful. The Giants get a dump. Look at all these nice stadiums, and the Giants get a freaking dump.
Because it's in New Jersey.
Go back to old Giants.
I love Jersey. My whole family's from Jersey.
Go back to old Giants. All in all, it was a great week one. Very impressed, even to last night's game. That came down to the last minute. Ratings were up. It was the football. Everybody was saying there's going to be. I mean, because of the anthem stuff. Look, ratings are still through the roof. The ratings are going to be up through the roof, just like the NBA playoffs were. Look, here's my final. Then don't watch. Here's my final thing about that. I have my own belief on that. All doesn't matter. I'm here to watch football. I love the game. I love sports. Plain and simple. That's why I want to watch. It doesn't matter. Okay, if you love football. If you want to make it bigger than that, then so be it. It's on you. But I'm going to watch football still, and that's it. And I enjoyed week one. It was amazing. Fans or no fans, it was still a huge success. It was well run, I would say, from start to finish too. I had no issues with it. The quarterback play looked amazing. You had some nice breakout stars. Josh Jacobs looked amazing. McCaffrey looked good. There were some bonehead moments. Matt Rule, new head coach, running a fullback dive on 4th and 1. Just don't ask me why you run it when you have the best maybe playmaker in the game.
Lions headbutting the ref.
Jamie Collins headbutting the ref, trying to mimic. Probably not the smartest thing. I understand what he was trying to do.
Rashad Evans last night.
Rashad Evans punching the player. Wait, let's punch the guy with a helmet on. That's smart. Gostowski, there was some bad too.
Do you know, Joe? I want to end it because I had the bet last night. Do you know Gostowski's? The chances that a kicker would miss 3 field goals in an extra point in a game is 0.06. And it happened last night. Do you know Gostowski had never missed 3 kicks in a game? Do you know he cost me 10 points on the football field, Joe?
Oh, I'll bet. But he finally gave when I don't know if you guys saw this. Last year, the Titans only converted 44% of their field goals.
They had so many kickers that out of the, oh my God. They were like 8 for 22 last year on kicks, on field goals. They were last year.
I think they were the first team in the modern era to make less than 60% of their field goals in a season.
Bill Belichick letting guys go early again. Oh, speaking of Cam looked very good too as well. Joe Burrow looked good.
Whole thing next 3 weeks, Jalen Hurts will be the quarterback of the Eagles because I just think that
I
think the Eagles are going to get
Tua's going to be playing sooner.
No, but Carson Wentz is going to get killed. I didn't say because he was bad. I said he's going to get killed. He gets sacked 8 times. That offensive line is struggling, and it's not going to get any better. I see Jalen Hurts playing very soon. Tua looks like he could be playing sooner than maybe we all thought. All in all, NFL season's underway. We are full steam ahead going forward with sports. Game 7 tonight. Who you got?
Clippers. They're the veteran team, the veteran coach. I think at the end of the day,
Nuggets go 3-1 again? Do they come back 3-1 and win?
Kawhi.
I think the Nuggets are going to shock the world tonight.
Stop. It'd be the worst thing for the NBA ratings-wise if the Nuggets played the Lakers. If the Nuggets do, more power to them. But the NBA
Kawhi in the glove is going to shut it down.
The NBA is dying to have Kawhi, LeBron, LA matchup, Heat and Celtics. Trust me, it would destroy the NBA ratings. And baseball, we're getting down to crunch time. The Yankees have a big series for second place against the Toronto Blue Jays. Who would have thought that again?
2 weeks left.
We got 2 weeks left. They just came out breaking news. And if I see it, I'll tell you right now.
I'll tell you exactly what it was.
So the World Series is playing in Arlington, Texas, and the NL Championship and the NLDS will be played in Texas as well. The ALDS will be played in Petco and Dodger Stadium as well. So Minute Maid Park will host portion of the NLDS. This is all breaking news for the NL.
So they're going to have the NL play
MLB. So there's a lot going on in baseball. We'll see the Yankees starting to get back all their injuries. Judge, Stanton, probably
Cole looks good. 13 innings, last 2
better.
starts, 19 Ks.
That whole rotation's been outstanding the whole turn through and then some.
And we'll talk about that later in the week after this big 3-game series against the Blue Jays just to see how they fare. And also we'll try to get on later in the week to see a big matchup between 2 #1 picks in the Battle of Ohio, the Bengals, the Browns. What's the give? What are we getting from the Browns?
Browns better win.
Are we getting good Baker Mayfield and Browns? Or are we getting really bad garbage looking? I like their uniforms, though. They brought back the older uniforms. I do like them. That is all, though. Joseph, thank you as always.
My pleasure, boys. Always good to be here.
For Big Blue, gosh darn it.
Come on, Big Blue.
Start saving for that third
sub.
sub.
Yeah, Joe, I just start saving for that third sub because you know what's coming soon. He has a bet in place. He has a bet in place. Seattle against the Patriots. He's got the Patriots winning. I got Seattle winning. So that will be 3 straight subs for me. Anyways, like I said, we'll be back at the end of the week. Everybody, enjoy the rest of your week. We are streaming on all social media platforms, including YouTube at Keys to the City. New shirts, getting new hoodies sooner or later. So message us if you want one. It's starting to get colder, Ted. Fall's coming. You know what that means. Hoodie season, sweatshirt season. I'm sorry, Ted. Anyways, Clovercrest Media presents Keys to the City. We are out.
Yeah. Keys to the city, baby. When you see us, so you know you really viewing greatness in the making. Double up on facts we stating. Podcasting, cruise control, city, state, the nation. So what you saying, what we saying, prime information. Facts, keys to the city, we're unlocking the statements.
Streaming every Friday.